I got a text. Alan, I had a sex dream about Mary. It was hot, 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 hot. 5 hots in all caps.
Thanks, ma'am.
And then I woke up and I was relieved I wasn't covered in tattoos. And it was my wife next to me, not Mary.
Oh. Well.
That seems like a backhanded compliment. I'm not sure how to.
I don't know what that was. Yeah,
right.
But okay. I'm glad it was hot.
My daughter woke up this morning and goes, I had a dream that you were a rock star.
Because you're not.
I go, I kind of am. Because I'm not, that's right. Yup. And then I put a pillow over her face. I said, go back to sleep, honey.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's okay. Listen. I was getting texts in the break. We were talking about today's the 36th anniversary of the Challenger blowing up. And so I got a couple of texts from a couple of different people telling me that one of their teachers was one of the finalists to be on the Challenger. And, of course, they were very upset when they watched it and it blew up, but I'm sure there was some relief there, too. And you have to wonder, how many teachers lied about that? You have to wonder if that was the story after the Challenger blew up that you got a couple of free drinks off of if you were a teacher. Like Ranazisi said he was in the World Trade Center on 9/11.
Right.
And it was completely, his story blew apart like Tower 1. And other people, I was going to be on a flight, blah, blah, blah. Closest I got was flying out the day before. But there were people who legit missed flights, like Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on a plane, and Mark Wahlberg was supposed to be on a plane, and, missed their flights for whatever reason. But you got to wonder how many teachers told a story that they were a finalist, which is impossible to verify. One of the finalists to be on the Challenger mission, because Krista McAuliffe was the first teacher in space. She was from someplace in New Hampshire or Boston. I think she was a Boston.
She was supposed to be the first teacher.
A Boston teacher. She what? Yeah, she was the first teacher on a shuttle mission, right? Yeah. But she was serving as a payload specialist. Because they got to train you to do something, right? Mm-hmm. You're a teacher. She was an astronaut, though. Wasn't like they just plucked her from high school biology.
Had she gone to space before then?
She was a teacher in a space project.
Okay.
So she was familiar with a lot of the protocols and things like that. They didn't just kind of pull her out and put her in there.
So what you're saying is that application to be the first teacher in space, that whole contest was a sham.
Well, years prior, this woman named, because a lot of people will confuse Krista McAuliffe and Sally Ride. There's a woman named Sally Ride who died about 10 years ago, but she was the first American woman in space. She was the third woman in space overall because the Russians were beating us for a while, doing things. But she was the first American woman in space. But she was not on the Challenger. There were 2 women on the Challenger. There was Chris McAuliffe and there was Judith Resnick. I think were the only 2 women on that.
What was the lady that drove from Texas to Florida because
she had diapers? She pooped her pants?
Well, she was wearing diapers so she could make better time, and she was mad at her boyfriend or something.
That was Lisa Nowak. She was the one who was who flew from or drove from Houston or something to because she was having an affair with another guy, and the story was that she had diapers in the trunk and she wore one so she wouldn't have to stop. But I don't think that was the case. I think they determined that
wasn't true.
It was not the case. No, they did a movie with Natalie Portman that was kind of loosely based on that a few years ago. I don't know how many people saw it, but it was called Lucy in the Sky. That's what it was called. But all of the training that you've got to go through to get into the space program, listen, I know how difficult it can be. I saw Spies Like Us. There's a lot of centrifugal force. And, but yeah, watching the Challenger in your classroom, and really, I didn't envy the teachers in the classes that day either. We got let out early because everybody was they didn't know what the hell to do. These teachers were crying adults and kids freaking out, whatever. And that's just from watching it on television.
Do you ever just...
It's hard to get your class back. It's like, if you're on stage and you lose the audience.
Yeah, it's over.
It's hard to get the class back, get high schoolers to pay attention after the space shuttle just blew up.
Yeah, when you're watching a national tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That was like 9/11. We didn't watch it, but people just started disappearing. And I'm just saying, kids in our class, I was in an open room. So we had 3rd and 4th graders, I believe, in the class, 3rd and 4th graders. And so it was a class about 30 to 40 kids, and it was down to 4, and the teachers didn't say anything. I didn't know what was going on. We went down from 40 kids down to 3. And my mom was the last
People
one.
were just leaving school, you mean?
People were getting picked up.
People were getting
I
picked
see.
up, but we had no idea what was
Freaking out.
going on. So I don't know if our teachers were really good at playing it off like they didn't know what was going on, or they really didn't know because the teachers didn't have any emotions. I remember it because I'm like, what the hell? How is it possible? We're not like, it's almost the end of the day and we didn't even have anybody to like dismiss. I'm just sitting there playing with cars, playing with trucks. My mom come in, all right, we leaving. I'm like, in her moo and curlers,
All right, we leaving.
we out.
Bill, is that why you're wearing your NASA shirt today, or is that purely coincidental?
Purely coincidental. But
Wow.
I just need to remind
Timing.
people that
Well, I know you don't work there.
I don't work there. I just shop there.
Yeah, it's yeah,
Pay
because
attention, Mary. This could come in handy if you're ever in a
Nope.
green room and people
To
start
say
talking about
that?
NASA.
No, I need your Cavs facts. I don't need your NASA.
Yeah, but you thought you weren't going to need the Cavs facts, and then you did.
the point is,
Pay
you
more
never
attention to
know
me.
what you're gonna need.
Pay more attention to me.
The more information that you can absorb off of any person, because you never know when it'll come in handy.
Yeah.
If there's anything any of us can learn day to day, it's that whatever you think might be the most inconsequential detail or mundane fact might just come in handy.
Never know.
You never know. Let's say you get mugged. Turns out that guy's a big Cavaliers fan, and you start spitting facts. The fewer facts you have, the higher the likelihood you're not going to make it out of that situation alive. You start whipping some Darius Garland knowledge on him, though.
What position does he play?
Forward.
Point guard. Idiot.
So the first one I can think of.
Alan, I faked being sick the day of the Challenger because I didn't want to go to school. So I ended up being 11 years old and watching it on TV alone at home. I never faked being sick again. Yeah, that might traumatize you.
Like,
I was in.
Oh, man, I loved faking being sick when I was a kid. That was the best.
How did you
it
do
work?
that? Did you do you lick your palms, the Ferris Bueller move, or you just put your head under we watched E.T. over the holiday with my daughter. She had never seen it, and I hadn't seen it in 100 years, where he wants to stay home from school, so when his mom leaves the room, he puts the lamp over his face to make himself really hot, I guess.
I would just say,
As though that's how science works. But
I'd just
you
say,
know.
like, my stomach hurt real bad. And
And they
like,
took you at your word.
Yeah. And they're like, do you need to go to the doctor? I'm like, no, I think just bad stomach ache.
Mormons don't lie.
But is that also because they knew you weren't killing it at school anyway? Were they like, yeah, okay.
Well, when I was younger, it was more, I would do it less. But, like, then when I got into, like, high school and stuff like that, it got to the point where I'd just be like, hey, Mom, I'm not going to school today. And she's like, all right.
Wow. Yeah. They were like, why fight it?
They were, and they have, I was one of 5 kids, so there was always other kids they had to worry about. So it was just like, all right, I guess that one's not, you're just going to stay in his
Yeah,
room
I
today.
guess. I mean, I never skipped school or anything, but
No, you were Mr. Perfect attendance.
I was, yeah. But also, friends of mine, plenty of them skipped school or faked being sick or whatever, and I was like, but you're just at home and all your friends are in school. So,
Yeah, but you don't care about your friends. You just want to be laying around. You don't want to do it.
really?
Yes.
Yeah, when my
Like, the part I liked about school is that's where all my friends were. So why do I want to sit at home? And now, granted, we didn't have cables. There's nothing to do at home anyway. My friends, I'm sure, had, Nintendos and cable TV. So it was probably a big old party for them. But for me, I was like, everybody you want to hang out with is at school. So
Yeah, but you can't, it's not really hanging out at school. Like, you get,
sitting at home in the middle of the day
But
is like the fun thing to
it's
do.
way
was
more fun
fun.
than school.
Sleeping, watch
Yes.
Price is Right.
Yeah,
Jerry
one-
Springer.
For one, sleeping was the best. Like,
Yeah,
I
waking
love,
up at 11. You're like,
because usually what we do,
Mary still does it now.
when it was,
oh yeah, I do. You kidding me?
when it was a sick day, especially when I was younger, you go and sleep in your parents' bed. So I go sleep in my parents' bed, and they had a water bed, and it was so warm, and it was so nice. And then, you turn on Price is Right, you watch that, you fall asleep, and then, and then before you know it,
How tired of a kid were you?
I said this last week. I'm always tired.
But you're an adult now. You were even tired as a kid?
Well, because I wouldn't be able to fall asleep on, like, I never could keep to a schedule. And so I would be tired because we'd have to get up early because my bus would come an hour before school. So I'd have to get up at like 6 a.m. And so that was
Oh, you were
too
sitting on the
early.
bus for a long time
Yeah.
before you even got to school. I see.
Yeah, so it was like an hour-long bus ride, and I'd fall asleep on the bus most days. But then, it was just always tired. And then when in high school, I had to get up even earlier than that because we had what we called seminary, where I'd have to go to church before I'd go to school.
Yeah,
for
we
an
did
hour.
that.
Yeah, so it was like an hour-long Bible study class at church, and then we'd go to school. So I'd have to get up around 5:30.
Yep.
Ugh.
My mom took us to mass every morning before school, K through 8.
Was that how long?
I'm
how
more
long is mass?
It was a half an hour. Weekday mass, we go to 7:15 mass right before school. And then, because I went to Catholic school, K through 12, if we had school mass that day, I got to go twice. It was great.
So the class that I went to,
Fantastic.
it was like Bible study. So like we were trying to memorize verses and talk about different
No, we didn't do
stories in the Bible and Book of Mormon and all that crap.
I almost wish I went to Catholic school.
Why?
You just heard some
Boys.
stories.
I was gonna say the boys are so hot.
Yeah, but they would have, but they would have been telling you, even though you might have been in the closet, you would have been hearing all these stories about how it was. You thought you felt like you were sinning before. Try going to Catholic school.
Yeah, but I'm not. But I said I wish I went to Catholic school. I didn't say I wish I was Catholic. The education's better. What do you mean?
He's just in it for the sex. He's just in it for the molestation.
Oh my God! I didn't say that. My kids my age when I was in school. I'll clarify that.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we had kids that went to our school that weren't Catholic because, yes, at that time it was a better education.
What religion were they?
Oh, nothing, or Lutheran or whatever. But it was like, yeah, at the time, a private school was going to be a better deal. But like where my son went to Catholic school, that's why my older daughter goes to public high school. Because the Catholic school, I'm like, what am I paying for? It sucked. Mm-hmm. So across the board, that is not the case anymore, that like Catholic schools are the best. There are a lot of great public schools.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen. Like, yeah, they would tell me it's in my regular church told me
know
it
that.
was I'm just saying, my regular church told me it was a sin. And the kids at school told me it was a sin. And then when the doors closed...
But it was a co-ed school. You mean you want to go to an all-boys school? Is that what you're talking about? I went to co-ed school.
I just said Catholic. I just like, the look of the Catholic school.
You wanted boys in jackets and ties.
Yeah, that's because they probably got money, too. Ain't nobody in there broke.
Oh, we have plenty of broke kids in our school. Student aid.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would get one of the broke ones.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Hate the show. I just wanted to mention that it made me think about with the Challenger, the anniversary of his explosion. That night, I had tickets to see Sandra Bernhardt down at Peabody's Down Under.
Wow.
And that was, she tried to, make the crowd laugh and stuff, but it was too early.
Yeah, probably too late to cancel the show because people are still going to show up. But, yeah, I don't know. So what kind of show was it? Did she just kind of go, okay, guys, this isn't going to work or what?
No, she kept trying to win the crowd over, but
you still got to do the show,
it kind of killed the whole thing.
Killed the vibe.
But anyway, I just wanted to say hi to everybody else. Mary, I used to come down, me and my sister used to come down to your shows over when you were running the comedy shows.
The Final Fridays.
Yeah.
I remember you.
You remember Mark?
Yeah, he came every single
Wow.
single time, and his sister came, and then he moved to Florida.
Are you in Florida now, Mark?
No, I was a bureau chief for a little bit when I was down in Marathon, Florida, but I came back up to Cleveland, and
better weather.
Glad to be here. Yeah. But anyway, it's great to talk to you guys.
Okay, hey, thank you, Mark.
Have a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. There's Mark, who used to be down in Marathon, Florida. That's way down in the Keys.
Very nice guy. Him and his sister.
Came all the way back up to Ohio. Yeah, you know what? I've had enough of that gorgeous Florida Keys weather. Of course, there's probably a lot of hurricanes and cyclones and things like that. Alan, I can totally picture Poundcake as an altar boy. This person's picturing you as an altar boy, Poundcake. Do you know what that is? Do you know what an altar boy is?
Yeah, they carry the little cross thingy up to the podium.
They light the candles.
Listen, the broad strokes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he nailed it.
Yeah, he
I'm
did.
not familiar with the Catholic.
No, I
tradition.
understand.
But altar boys, aren't those the ones that usually get, touched?
Altar boys were the ones, yes, because they were in closest proximity to the clergy that had their predilections.
And then they go.
Nothing like that happened at my school, though, or my church.
Maybe they just kept it under wraps.
No, you don't keep that kind of stuff under wraps because kids talk, and there was, listen.
And there's also money.
I can't say with
now,
100% certainty. I'm just saying there was never even a whiff of a rumor of any of our priests. We had old priests, and they were nice. They were like nice old priests.
It's always the nice old ones where they're like, we had no idea.
No, the old ones
trust
can't
me,
even get it up.
Trust me, I was keeping my eyes open, but.
Oh, so rumblings were like going on when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I mean,
thought this just got discovered like in the 90s or early 2000s.
I think that's when they started being exposed.
Oh.
But when they started.
It's kind of the worst kept secret.
Yes. Like when the Boston Globe started printing stuff years ago, that was when things really blew up because they were like, oh, there's a whole network of this going on at the highest levels.
Yeah.
There's a procedure to send. You had churches that would send their alcoholic priests to another parish. And they were the ones that would use grape juice during the consecration. So there was also a network for alcoholic priests. But there was absolutely a network for pedophile priests.
Pray A. That's what it was called.
Mary Santora, she's a professional comedian. Pray A, yeah. But no, I didn't hear rumor one of our priests. I liked them a lot. They've all since passed a long time ago. And plus, when you got to the upper echelons, I've talked to Sebastian Maniscalco about this, because we were both altar boys. And I used to go to the church that he grew up going to. Many years later, I dated a girl who grew up near him. But if you got yourself into the upper echelons of being an altar boy, you're doing weddings and you're getting tipped for those weddings.
Yeah, you are.
And then you're doing funerals and you're getting tipped by the funeral director.
Tipped at a funeral.
Yeah. It was, I don't know if that's even protocol anymore. It might be seen as unseemly now. But back then, I would leave class in the middle of the day to go do a funeral. Funeral director puts a 50 in my hand. I go back to class. I'm golden. Weddings, it's usually the bride's father, slips you a 10 or something. Piece of cake. In and out. Today's pay.
Way more into church if I was getting paid.
Anybody would.
Yeah.
We were getting paid in salvation. That's what I liked.
And how
Good luck catching that in.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Do you not see how my comedy career is blowing up in LA? That is Jesus. I stood next to Usher last night. Are you kidding me?
That is Jesus. Yeah, I stood next to Usher.
Stood next to Usher.
And
Pray
he stood next to me. That's right.
Do Catholics have their own genre of music? Because ain't nothing like I think you guys adopt our Christian songs. Like,
no, Catholics listen to 1,000-year-old Gregorian chants.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Ain't got no seasoning.
They're just saying we're sorry over and over again in a different language.
That's right.
Yeah, like Baptist.
Yeah, this stuff is so bad. Is it all meant to make you feel like poop?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't do that.
This is supposed to be holy.
Our church be jumping. You walk in there. Wait, I forgot my tambourine in the car. You better go out and get it.
Were you Baptist?
Yep.
Yeah, we would go. There was a Baptist church that was not too far from our house.
Tear that
we would
place
go
down.
to sometimes, because our church was all the way out in Brecksville, so it wasn't close, and we were late a lot. So when we were running late, we would go to the Baptist church near us, and it was like 2.5 hours of worship. I loved it.
But it was so fun, so much more fun.
Girls running around.
Everybody praising, catching the spirit, falling over, man. It was
It's so
awesome.
different than
I loved it.
The Mormon meetings were like very regimented, and like there would once in a while there'd be like someone that was actually good at music that would sing something, but it was still very like reverent. It was nothing like upbeat or like running around or anything like that. And but you'd sing these hymns, and everybody in the congregation would sing them, and it was god awful because nobody
it's so
was good.
somber. And it's like, they'd be like, here you have, black churches, people that have been oppressed for centuries, and they're screaming and jumping and having a high old time. And then over here you have people going, blah, 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 blah. These people who are like the kings of the world, and we got our heads in the ground and singing these awful maudlin
God is
songs.
in his holy temple.
Oh, God.
I feel like Pentecostals, we were a nice mix of both. because we got we spoke in tongues, so there was the holy rolling, the jumping around, the spirit, and all that. But we also felt really guilty about things. Like our songs were like, "Our God is an awesome God."
God!
From heaven above.
Yea, my sandala de de I see Koshantala lo si. Yea, my sandala de de I see Koshantaya. Thank you, Jesus.
We used to bust out that Yolanda Adams, or that Kirk Franklin.
But
We
when I was in like Sunday school as a child, they teach us new songs, and all we'd ever try and do is make them funny.
Yeah,
And just
that's what
like,
kids do.
so like it was like we were Weird Al-ing these songs that were supposed to be
Hymns.
about, like
Weird
God
Al,
and
yeah.
Jesus is like, and just making them about poop and farts.
I got baptized.
If you want to bring us into the fold, there
Yeah.
should have been more poop and fart hymns. What, nobody in the 12th century was pooping or farting? I got to take a break. Hey, I'll have Wasp tickets for you. Blackie Lawless is on the 40th anniversary tour. Going to get to the Agora this fall with Armored Saint. So if you go back to the 80s with Wasp, I'll get you a couple of tickets here after the break. Also at 3:30, another keyword to get you some money. It's a $1,000 next chance for you to go fund yourself.